Hi, I'm Christina Applegate.
And I'm Jamie-Lynn Sigler.
And this is
Messy. Just wanted to take a quick break and share a word from one of Messy's advertisers. Since partnering with Novartis, I have been thinking a lot about when I was first diagnosed with relapsing MS. And to be honest, I was overwhelmed and in denial, and I didn't want to accept it. Eventually, I had to be real with myself, reflect on what was important, reframe how my diagnosis was impacting my life, and focus on how I was feeling. And I wish I'd started thinking about my needs sooner. It helped me get to a place of acceptance and find the right treatment choice for me. And I really hope others don't wait as long as I did. That's why I partnered with Novartis to create a 3-step guide, hoping it can help people speak up and voice their needs. Get the guide at reframingms.com.
Hi, it's Christina and
Jamie.
And because I want to say it after I do a little introduction. I met this woman while doing this show with a really, really bad cast of actors, probably the worst ever on television assembled. She's my love. She's my friend. She's brilliant. She has an incredible movie that she wrote, directed, and starred called Fresh Kills, which we will get to. This is my girl, my dancing queen, my love, my honest bitch, Jennifer motherfucking Esposito. Welcome, my girl.
Can you fucking beat that from Miss Christina Applegate, right? Really quick. So when we were doing Samantha Who, I signed on before you. I believe so. I kept saying, but who's Samantha? Who's Samantha? And I remember when I heard it was you, I was so excited because I was like, oh yeah, this makes so much sense to me. I'm so excited.
Well, it was, for anyone who may not know the show, it was about this ensemble of people and played by Jennifer Esposito, a little known name, Melissa McCarthy, little known name, Kevin Dunn, little known name, Jean Smart, Barry Watson. Gosh. I mean, it was like ridiculous. The stars fucking aligned for us in that sense of not just because you guys were so incredibly talented, but we just it was like everything from the crew to everything.
It really was.
So what do you remember?
Oh my God. I will tell you, I remember nonstop laughing. First of all, nonstop.
Yeah, we pee ourselves in our diapers.
We laughed so hard. And I remember a time in particular, Christina.
Oh, snap. I think I know what you're going to say.
In the car.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. We just couldn't stop laughing. I mean,
because there might have been alcohol involved.
I think, Christina, you might have told me about that too.
We don't condone to drinking on the job, but we would work 18 to 19 hours a day.
We would call
them Fraturdays.
But we were in a pulley car.
Yeah, we weren't driving it.
That's it. Right.
We might have had, it was at the end of the night. Like the whole crew, too. They're like, how's that coffee? You're like, it's good.
I love it.
And the three of us, they have footage of that.
Oh, I need it. Of
like the in-between stuff.
Oh, some of the funniest, most fun, most beautiful memories. Like we just had... I wish we could have went on forever. It was no, seriously, it's one of those jobs that you go, oh, this is really nice. And crazily enough, do you remember when my tooth fell out? Because
your tooth fell out the day my cat died.
Oh my God!
Remember?
That was so.
When Kanaloa died, I came in freaking out, and you looked at me and you're like, "I'm sorry about your kitty," and then you left to go get your tooth replaced.
Literally in the middle of the scene, because my celiac, I didn't know I had. I knew something was wrong with me, but I didn't realize how ill I was, and that's when I started to really fall apart. And my tooth literally flew out in a scene with Melissa, I think it was, and I was like, "Did my tooth just fall out?"
Oh my God!
Yeah, we were breaking down.
You were really, as fun as all of that was, you were really suffering during that time.
Jamie, I will say this. I and Christina, we've talked immensely about our mothers, but I thought...
Okay, Nancy, I love you.
I love you.
Love you, Nancy Pretty.
I'm not going to say that on this side because
cool. I know.
I'm just going to go with
there.
It. Go with it. I'm just going to say I saw... someone dealing with their illness, stress, anxiety, panic disorder, bipolar, like all of it. I saw it just like, that's what you do. Oh, you're having panic disorder at 12? Take a Valium. And it was like, is this correct? Like, should this be? And stomach issues, and take this and take. So I just thought this was normal. So by the time I was an adult, I thought this stuff was normal. I thought like having panic disorder and having panic attacks all the time was normal. I thought my stomach being sick all the time was normal. I thought that sleeping all through lunch was normal. I thought highs and lows and rage, and I thought it was normal. So I just hid it because, I realized that a lot of those things weren't liked. So I either hid it or just, dealt with it on my own. But after understanding how deeply ill I was with celiac disease and then seeing my entire world shift, wow. It was like, oh, I don't have to live like that. I don't, and they thought I had MS at one point, I have to say.
Well, because those are very similar symptoms to what we have. The sleeping, the up and down with depression and anxiety, and the stomach. Like, I vomit like almost every day. I have like stomach issues. And I remember you telling me to get tested, and I've had multiple endoscopies and went to the place that you told me to, like down in the one place, and they didn't find anything. But it's because I had MS this whole time. I've had MS for probably 8 years, 7 years or something,
And
but
that, you don't realize at the time, but now looking back, because I would go through points where like I couldn't walk. And at the time I was on Samantha Who, not only did my tooth fall out, my nails were falling off and clumps of hair was falling out, like clumps. I'd go like this. And Melissa McCarthy lived around the block from where I lived. And I literally would go over to her house and I'd like fall asleep sitting there. It was like, this isn't normal. Like it just wasn't normal. And very long story short, after I wind up getting diagnosed, then realizing how deeply ill I was, and then still it honestly took around, I'd say 2 to 3 years to get to a place that I was. I got so bad they had me on 4 Klonopin a day, and I was still like, they threw me in a psych ward for a day. Like I was really in bad shape because my nervous system was so screwed up. And it took me probably 3-4 years to stabilize. And that's why I wrote the book, and because I couldn't get help anywhere. And
which is called Jennifer's Way for anyone who suffers from this. It's an incredible book. And her recipes and all the things that you do as medicine, which is food, and she's good at it. It's good stuff. Everything in there is so important. I think we need to probably get it. I do have it. I have a signed copy.
Oh, you're
but maybe we need to, because food is so huge for our disease too. Like I need my half a piece of sourdough bread in the morning, and I'm sorry, my toast, and I probably shouldn't be having it because then I vomit all day. But I remember, and I wanted to say this because you were suffering. I knew that you were suffering so hard, and because you couldn't talk about it, because it kind of was a set as lovely as it was, we couldn't complain. And knowing any set. Well, I just worked on a show with all women, directing, writing, producing.
That's lovely.
All of that. So I could be like sick, but on our set, hour 19, hour 20 on a Friday. And I'm like, I can't do any more. And they're like, well, we do have to finish. And it's like, and this, I'm not shitting on anyone that worked on it, but we really couldn't complain. You can't complain. So to know that how much you were suffering and yet went out and fucking slayed every single thing that you did, and then go back to your room. And I could hear you sometimes crying in there, girl. I know how hard it was for you. And I'm so glad that you finally got an answer. And I also know that a lot of doctors shit on you. So,
what
the hell?
Well,
yeah, like you're nuts.
When you're female, as you guys both probably know, I had gone and begged. When I tell you begged, I was vegan. I was macrobiotic. I went to a therapist. I went to a healer. I went to a chakra person. Like I went and I talked and I was like, please, there's something wrong. And people would kinesia. I went everywhere. And I would totally be turned into, it's your emotions, you're female, you're dramatic, you're this, you're hypochondriac, and I'd be like, no, that's why, to be quite honest, when the tooth fell out of my mouth, it was like, look, where's my tooth?
All the crack you were smoking, I think.
All the crack. I wish.
So much crack.
I went and I remember sitting there. I went to my ear, nose, and throat doctor because I was constantly getting these recurring sinus infections. They kept putting me on steroids. And I was like, I can't take any more medication. And he said, something's not right. Go to this woman. And it was a female doctor. And I sat there and I was like, broken, because it had been the nth time. I was going to a church every weekend where Christina went to, and to like pray, like maybe it's your soul. Like what the fuck? I was so at the mercy. And I went to this woman. I told her everything. I was like, and this and this and this. And she looked at me and she said, I never forget this. And it's the opening of my book. She said, Jennifer, do you want to kill yourself? And I just thought, how are you saying this to me at this point? I am not well. And I vowed, she said to me, I'm going to test you for everything. I'm going to get this. And she said to me, give me a few days. And I vowed I would never forget this. And Christina, it's so crazy because I was on my way to Agape. And I said to myself, Jennifer, if this comes back and not that she can't find anything, then you're going to take the label of crazy and you're going to move on. And in that exact moment, a piece of wood about the size of my arm flew off the back of a truck and came shooting through my front window. And I swerve off the thing and I'm sitting covered in glass. And I was like, if that's not a sign that this is, that's not correct. So she called me 2 days later and she said, you have the worst case of celiac disease I think I've ever seen. I don't know how you're alive. Like she's like, I don't know how you're alive. I was, what is that? What do you mean? Like, what do you mean? But honestly, I had an answer. I had a fucking answer.
I remember when I think you called me like right after and I was like crying. I was like, oh my God, like, shit, woman, you like, and you were a pasta eater and a pasta maker. Pasta limone, Jennifer's pasta limone. You've got to have it. Like, please make it. I try to recreate it for Sadie, and it's not as good as yours, obviously.
You have to come over and make it. I remember I made like a vat for the whole crew
every time. Yeah, all the time. And it's like was so good. And then you tried to teach me the gluten-free way, and I really ruined it. But we'll get there sometime.
We'll get there.
But I'm so happy you had an answer, my love, because
thank God, man.
Your suffering was too much.
It was too much. And I have to tell you, then it was even then knowing and then it was still a journey. And like I said, that's why I wrote the book. And that's why I opened a bakery, because I figured if I'm doing this and I had the money to try and find out what was wrong, I couldn't imagine so many other people and kids and being told they're crazy or they're this or they're that. And to me, I have a real problem with injustice. I've said it many times. I can't handle it. Like it really is something that it just, I can't handle it. So what I was seeing and then the gaslighting of women, I just thought I have to do something. So that's how it led me down that road. But
well, thank you for taking that role and that initiative, because, you know, sometimes I try to take experiences in life and think and try to understand why we're chosen sometimes to experience certain things. And because of your heart and your values when it comes to injustice, I'm sorry you had to suffer for so long, but maybe you were the person that was able to persevere and then make
the adjustments that saved your life, quite frankly.
Definitely saved my life. And I will tell you, I will say I had a hand in helping so many people. That's why I opened the bakery. It wasn't, I wanted to share the love of food, but celiac is more than love of food. Yeah. It's like, it's community, and it's feeling like you're part of something, and dinners and birthday parties. And I just thought this will be a hub, and people could come and know, and people would come in. They didn't give a shit about Jennifer Esposito, the actress. They want to talk to Jennifer Esposito, the celiac survivor. People come in and put me on the phone with their daughters and their sons. I mean, from football players, like NFL, their mothers would call me, or like kids in school, or I'd make wedding cakes for women that, like, you know, things like that. That was just so
You made Sadie birthday cakes and cupcakes, and the kids, like, she was really young then. It was so good. Like, seriously, I have pictures somewhere with the lavender on top of the cake. She made the most incredible cake and cupcakes for Sadie's birthday party a few years ago.
I loved it.
And they didn't know. The kids didn't know that it wasn't gluten-free and it didn't have sugar and it was vegan and all that. And it was so on top of that, you are an incredible chef. But I was going to say, in listening to this, like, I didn't know much about MS either. I mean, all I heard is you get MS and then you die.
Oh,
then you just die from it, but even my doctor was like, I asked him, I said, do you think this could be MS? And he goes, it's not really presenting as MS. It's peripheral. You guys know I hate
peripheral neuropathy.
Yeah.
I had that. I know. Yep.
And there you go.
So we waited so long to do like the MS tests, which in the interim, I got worse and worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
And he was like, we got to go deeper. So like that whole thing of, I had this feeling, I was like, I got a feeling. And he's like, no, acupuncture and blah, 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 which actually made me worse because they would put electric currents through, right? Jamie's like, yeah, that's not good. Don't do that.
Been there.
MSers, no electrical currents into the needles, into the nervous system, because you will get worse. Just think, bad.
A lot of
But that whole thing of like, maybe doctors need to like knock off the worst thing first.
Hello.
Let's knock off the worst thing first. Yeah.
But also listen to you and believe you in what, because I hate when a doctor can tell you what you are feeling.
Suck a dick, bitch. Sorry, that's just me. That's how I talk.
I'm in. I agree.
There you go.
I agree.
I just wanted to take a quick break and share a word from one of Messi's advertisers. Since partnering with Novartis, I have been thinking a lot about when I was diagnosed with relapsing MS. I kept it a secret at first, and that robbed me of the support I really needed. I finally found the courage to open up about it and quickly learned the importance of speaking up. That means making your voice the loudest in the room. You have to find an MS specialist who's the right fit, who makes you feel seen and heard. It's kind of like dating. That's why I partnered with Novartis to create a 3-step guide to inspire others to own their RMS journeys, recognize their needs, and find a treatment that works for them. Learn more about my story at reframingms.com.
Support for Messy comes from ZocDoc. We all know there's things in life that you have to compromise, right? Like bills, sometimes getting up and getting dressed. But when it comes to your health, there is no compromise. And don't have that be the case because you don't want to go see that doctor that's annoying, that eats up your time talking about personal stuff, or that office that just doesn't take your insurance. Instead, you need to check out ZocDoc. It's the place where you can find and book doctors who will make you feel comfortable, listen to you, and prioritize your health. You can search by location, availability, and insurance. So literally no compromises here, because with ZocDoc, you have got more options than you know. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare highly rated in-network doctors near you and instantly book appointments with them online.
So once you find the doc you want, you can book them immediately. No more waiting awkwardly on hold. No, no more of that, unless it's a really good song, but none of that.
Yep. And all these doctors, by the way, are all verified. They've got reviews from actual real patients. And we're talking about booking appointments with tens of thousands of top-rated, patient-reviewed, credible doctors and specialists.
You can filter specifically for ones who take your insurance, are located near you. That's my problem. Some of my favorite doctors are like a 45-minute drive.
Yeah.
I can't do that, man.
No.
Who wants to do that?
Nope.
Get them near you and treat basically any condition you're searching for.
There we go. And typical wait time, by the way, to see a doctor booked on ZocDoc is between just 24 to 72 hours. That's it. You can even sometimes score same-day appointments.
Wait, do you mean you need to sit in the office for 24 to 72 hours, Jamie?
No, meaning you can go to them either tomorrow, the next day, or the next day instead of like 3 months from now.
I got to get my docs on ZocDoc. Over it.
Yep, samesies.
Go to ZocDoc.com/messy and download the ZocDoc app for free. Then find and book a top-rated doctor today.
That's ZocDoc.com/messy, ZocDoc.com/messy.
Now, I want all of us listeners to all together say ZocDoc.com. You'll never forget it. ZocDoc.com. See, you'll never forget it. /messy. Nope. Messy is sponsored by BetterHelp.
I don't know about you. This year has flown by. I mean, 2024 is halfway over. What is going on? And when life goes so fast, I think it's important to take a moment to celebrate your wins, and then also see where you could do better and make those adjustments for the rest of the year. And sometimes you can't do that on your own. And therapy can help you take stock of your progress and set achievable goals for the next 6 months of the year.
Listeners, listen to me. It is helpful to learn positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself. It isn't just for those who have experienced major trauma, etc., but getting it out of your mouth gives it less power, people.
That's right. And that's all we're trying to do here.
It's all we're trying to do.
That's right. So if you're thinking of starting therapy, why don't you give BetterHelp a try? It's entirely online and it's designed to be very convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. You can just fill out this brief questionnaire. And when you do that, you get matched with a licensed therapist. And by the way, if you're not vibing with that therapist, you can switch at any time for no additional charge.
Won't hurt their feelings.
Nope.
Listen, just take a moment. Visit betterhelp.com/messy today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/messy.
Jennifer, can I ask you advice though? Because, the way that you sort of took your diagnosis and you're like, okay, I've got to make these changes. Coming, like you said, being an Italian woman and eating pasta and bread and probably gluten was like the main source of your diet. I know a lot of other people with MS and autoimmune or anything in life, no matter what you're dealing with, like when you're given a situation and then there's some solution to get there, sometimes the willpower and commitment that it takes can feel really daunting and exhausting and scary. And you're already dealing with a diagnosis that makes you feel isolated and separate and different and scared. And so I have tried so hard to really change my diet to support my body. And I'm not great at it.
You know what? It's hard. It's definitely not easy, Jamie, but I will tell you this. If you've ever had a severe panic attack, that's what I would live in. I mean, it's not fun. And the fear of that, but I'm also, I'm a little insane when it comes to like a goal. Like it's like a mouse in a maze. Put the cheese at the end and I'm going to figure out, like, throw me another problem. And like a boxer, but it's not healthy all the time because it's like stay down. But I will say also, you know, there's a lot of inner work too that comes with, and I don't ever, that's why I remember when I found out Christina had been diagnosed with MS, I didn't want to call her and be like, hey, how are you? Like, how is she? She's fucking pissed. She's sick. She doesn't want to do this. Like, I want to allow everyone grace to be where they need to be. Mm-hmm. But I also ask myself a lot of questions all the time. So I had to really say to myself, do you feel you're worth it to do this? Eat clean so you can live right. Because I come from a place of deep victimization in my family. Me, and when me, but you're not doing anything to help yourself. And I just didn't want to be that for me. But I also understand giving yourself grace to be where you're at. And if you're not ready to go full bore and like eat the way you should, you don't need to then beat yourself up about it either.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that, you know, Jamie and I, it's our kind of our common theme here is that I'm the angry, pissed off one who's doing all the wrong things. And she's like my angel light, who's now, unfortunately, I've kind of ruined a little bit of her because she gets pissed off now too.
No, you haven't. You've given me permission to. It's important.
I gave you permission, but we are, like we always say, if the two of us could come together as one person, we'd be the best disabled person on the planet. Like literally the most inspiring, incredible person, because I'm still angry. I'm three years in, not even 3 years, it'll be 3 years in June. But like, I know that I shouldn't have that half a piece of sourdough toast in the morning, but you know what? I love it. Yeah. But I have stomach issues. And you know what? I think I need to be tested again for celiac, because you've been telling me that for years, because my stomach has been so bad for years.
It hides, Christina. It hides. And you guys, literally, all I have to do is make you one thing of my bread, one loaf of my bread, and you wouldn't give a fuck. Your bread
is so good. Oh my God.
I want your bread.
You wouldn't care about sourdough. I swear, I will send you easy recipes. I'm really not joking. And that's the other thing. Once you do it, and you taste it and you're like, wait, I can still do this, but in a better way. It may be a little bit easier to do, but I don't say that the two of you together would be the best possible disabled person. I refuse.
That's just always my joke.
But still, I applaud both of you for fucking continuing and being able to say, you know what, I'm angry and I'm not okay. We need more of that. People do not show up real. They just don't. And I think it's okay to be in a space right now where you are.
Because, and I'm going to say why people aren't real, I think, especially people who are public, is because everyone's so afraid to seem, quote unquote, weak, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you're weak. You can't do the job right. You can't. So there's a lot of bullshit out there being like, you know, I'm the best at this. I'm so strong. I'm the only one who's going to get through this. And it's like, you're not. There's millions of people who are suffering every single day and need to feel seen and heard. And by you talking about this, just trust me on this, Jennifer, when this airs, we're going to get thousands and thousands and thousands of people emailing us and commenting on, oh my God, I feel seen. I feel heard. Maybe I need to push a little bit harder. Like you're going to save lives. So I applaud you for your honesty and your candidness. Like it's.
You just did something huge for me too, just now.
Yeah.
When you
like,
just said, like when you, I'm crying. Like when you just said, like, am I worth it to fight for this? You know, I think sometimes when you get diagnosed with something, you just feel less than. And even though that I have a beautiful community around me of people that are like, you're still the same Jamie, no matter what. It's so hard to believe that.
I understand. And I want to tell you, really, your family. Okay. So I'll tell you what this is, but I teach this workshop called the I'm Sorry Monologues. And what I always say to these women, to all women, just because one thing is true doesn't mean the other one isn't. And just because you have this beautiful family and this beautiful community, and I should be heaven, I should be this, it doesn't mean you can't be pissed. It doesn't mean you're not alone. You are alone in your disease, period. End of story. That is the truth. I am alone in my celiac. And when I get really bad, I am alone in that. So that's you. And that's what you face. So to be able to say to you, are you okay? Will you do better for you? Mm-hmm. And if you're not, why? And start asking those questions, because it's more than food. I had to ask myself those questions because, like I said, I grew up in a very dysfunctional, very yelling, violent surrounding outside my house, inside my house, and a lot of victimization. And I saw those things in myself, and I just thought, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to
I think you raised yourself knowing
100,
knowing you and what we have talked about personally. You fucking raised yourself. And I'm sorry,
100%,
lady, but the lady, you raised yourself. And that's a lot. That's a lot for anyone who isn't sick. That's a lot for any little girl who has to go out and figure out the world on her own, because you're being raised by wolves and you're not given the tools to go out and be strong, to walk into a room and go, you need me more than I need you. And I think you have done that. And that's something that I find in you to be so attractive and amazing, that you just go, you know what? I'm going to fucking do it myself then. Thank you very much.
That's exactly it. But I think that's why you and I hit it off so quickly, because you raised yourself.
Yeah. Sorry, Nancy. I love you, Mom.
Sorry, Nancy.
Sorry.
They did the best they could.
Have total compassion. It's not easy. Compassion, totally. But that also doesn't mean that it can't be better for me and change. And sometimes you have to leave the past behind. But seriously, Jamie, first of all, give yourself grace. And second of all, you are alone in your disease. So just look at you know what? If I don't eat that thing, how can I eat it in a different way that's better for me?
We're supposed to be on Mediterranean diet, right? Isn't that what we've been told? Well, by our neuros and stuff, that that's what we're supposed to be doing.
Mediterranean-ish, paleo-ish.
Yeah.
Yep. But do you think that your experience with celiac and your illness was the catalyst for you to break that generational trauma and behavior?
100%. The first try,
right?
Because you don't change that overnight. But I will say this: all of that stuff that I thought was given to me, from what I've seen, and the panic and the this and the that, when I healed my gut, and I really want every person out there with autoimmune, but also depression and all of the disorders, especially anything to deal with the mind and the nervous system, getting gluten, dairy, soy, corn, sugar. And I know it sounds like a great deal. What do you eat? But I eat. Getting it out of my body. I do not take not one medication, not one. I do not have panic attacks anymore. I do not have them, because my gut was so screwed up, and most of your serotonin is in your gut. I was so off. I was so off. By stabilizing my gut and healing my gut, I cannot tell you what I have done for my nervous system. I was on 4 Klonopin a day. I take nothing now. I take nothing.
I think you just saved Jamie and I today in a sense of, because Jamie and I talk about my stomach issues. I've been in the hospital almost 10 times in the last 2 years from stomach stuff. And it's like, I just chalked it up to motility issues. And now I'm like, okay, you know what, James, we gotta research that for us now, because
I'm really serious. I will look, you guys, you have my email. I will help you. The cookbook I have so I did Jennifer's Way, and that's all about understanding my disease and understanding what that was. But the other one, the next book, Jennifer's Weight Kitchen, it starts in AIP, which is autoimmune protocol, which is the real, you want to really see a change? Seriously, guys, AIP, autoimmune protocol diet. It starts there, gives you recipes in there, and then gradually will take you out to eating more of a paleo diet. But that AIP, which is it like resets your whole immune system. Yeah. I cannot tell you how it has changed. It changed everything, guys. It changed everything.
Well, we have, an autoimmune disease and central nervous system disease. So we are triggered by lights and sounds and being touched, and that affects our walking and our speech. And like a minute ago, this is Barbara. So my right arm, I call her Barbara, and left arm is Stanley. My right leg is Meghan Markle, and my left leg is Tootie. So sometimes Barbara just starts to go, like I get really freaked out. So if you see me, doing weird things, it's like she's going because
Barbara
something is it's stimulating the lesions on my brain and all those things. And I'm like, you're inspiring me. You're inspiring me.
Anytime,
me too.
Guys, seriously, you feel free. I literally, for a friend once, I cooked three meals a day and 2 snacks for a month for her, so she can understand what it looked like. And she was eating, she felt satiated, she was fed. And I tell you, and I really do mean this, and I understand when you're so deep in the hole that it's very hard to find light. But when you start to do this for yourself and you start to see a shift, I promise you it starts to build on each other. And you're like, I don't have pain when I wake up. Oh, I don't feel like I'm passing out. Oh, my stomach doesn't hurt. Oh, I don't have panic attacks today.
Yeah.
It's a game changer, guys.
I live on Zofran twice a day. Like, I don't want to be on Zofran twice a day.
I get it.
And when you think in the terms of like energy, like that's putting love into yourself and in your body, because and Christina and I can talk about, I get angry at my body all the time. Like we don't have a good relationship at all. I feel very betrayed by it. I'm mad at it. I'm frustrated. I feel like I do a lot of like the physical manual, like physical therapy and working out, labor. And it's just sometimes gets super frustrating because it's not moving a needle.
Right.
And the idea of like giving my body more love and attention in that gentle way is just a piece of the puzzle I've never really tried.
Yeah. And then I'm sitting here going, we're never going to get better. It's like, that's the weird thing about our disease is like, there's no getting better. There's getting stronger, but there's no,
or not getting worse.
Or not getting, all we try to do, but with our infusions and our medications that we take is not getting worse.
Right.
Where we end up in a wheelchair 24/7 and can't speak, and then we're gone. So Jamie and like people don't understand that about MS, which is totally fine. Why would you? And I hope you never have to understand what it is. But we live in a world that we know when we get out of bed, this is probably not going to ever not feel like this. And that's really can be very disheartening.
I completely understand.
But wow. I wanted to say to you, because I'm so happy that you have like love in your life, and you don't have to talk about the love in your life, but trust me, Jamie-Lynn Siegler. Yeah. I watched the lady go through some things, and some with some extra accoutrements, which we won't talk about.
I love you, Christina.
Maybe tell me off the Zoom.
We'll tell you off the Zoom.
I love you so hard, man.
Support for the Messy podcast comes from Vuori.
It's perfect if you're sick and tired of traditional old workout gear. Vuori offsets 100% of their carbon footprint. And since 2019, they have also offset 100% of their plastic footprint. They strive to utilize preferred materials for their products, empowering your best active life.
If you don't know about Vuori, it is so comfortable. It's incredibly versatile. You look great in or outside of the gym. It's perfect for working out if that's what you do. But if you also just want to lie around, Let me tell you, it's perfect for that too. And my new favorite is the women's performance jogger. It's the pant you'll never want to take off. They have this slim, relaxed fit with a slightly like cropped little leg, has pockets, a drawstring, and they have now I know what the name is of my new favorite material. It's the Dream Knit stretch fabric.
The product is incredibly versatile. It can be used for just about any activity like running, training, swimming, yoga, but also great for just lounging. All right, guys, listen to this. Vuori is an investment in your happiness. For our listeners, they are offering 20% off your first purchase. Get yourself some of the most comfortable and versatile clothing on the planet at vuori.com/messy. That's VUORI.com/messy.
Not only will you receive 20% off your first purchase, but enjoy free shipping on any U.S. orders over $75 and free returns. Go to vuori.com/messy and discover the versatility of Vuori clothing.
Messy is supported by Fatty 15.
Listen, it's pretty simple. Essential nutrients keep our cells healthy, which keeps us healthy. If you want to get sciencey about it, studies show that C15 works by strengthening our cells, improving our mitochondrial function, very important for us, Christina, and protecting us against damaging free radicals. So the result of that, better long-term metabolic, liver, and heart health. Many of us, it turns out, are very deficient in C15, which results in weaker cells, which makes less energy. We don't want that. Fatty 15 is a science-backed, award-winning, vegan-friendly, and pure C15 supplement. So it replenishes our cells with the essential C15 to 0 nutrient. Fatty 15 effectively repairs our cells and restores our long-term health. Go science.
Fatty 15 has 3 times more cellular benefits than omega-3 or fish oil. Fatty 15 is made from a patented, pure, and oxidation-resistant C15 powder derived from plants. It's vegan-friendly, very important to moi, free of flavors, fillers, allergens, or preservatives. C15 is the only ingredient, guys, the only one in Fatty 15, 100% pure.
I love it.
Because you know what? Omega-3 fish oil supplements often go bad. Bad fishy.
Mm-hmm.
No bad fishy.
Yes.
Bad
Fishy.
before they even leave the bottle, resulting in supplements that don't improve your health. Fatty 15 naturally protects against damaging oxidation, both in the bottle and your body, because you don't want bad fishy.
No bad fishy. It also comes in a gorgeous reusable glass bamboo jar, and you just refill the capsules. They're shipped to your door quarterly in pouches made from recycled materials. How thoughtful.
Fatty 15 is on a mission to replenish your C15 levels and restore your long-term health. You can get an additional 15% off their 90-day subscription starter kit by going to fatty15.com/messy and using code MESSY at checkout.
I'm so happy for you of where you are at in your life. I know I can see it took a lot of heartache and hard work and heart, which is also all of those parts of your character and being that led you to write and direct and star.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking killer movie, which I loved. And just the fact that these amazing women were on the screen 95% of the time, and you felt the power and drama and didn't miss a minute of it.
Wait, can I say, before we even get into this, I love, like, we got sent your information. I was like, well, thank you. I pretty much know who she is. But you were talking about Sopranos and, you know.
Yeah. Was I? Weird.
Well, I think in talking about, like, in the mob genre era of, like,
it's a lot.
Like, meaning like that it focuses mainly on the men and
right,
very little on how it affects, that life affects the women.
That's right.
So first of all, it's called Fresh Kills. And where can people watch it before we get into, like, the meat?
Yes.
So it's coming out June 14th, finally, in theaters, New York and LA. And then, and then it'll be on some kind of something, it'll be on streaming, because that's kind of the way people do it now. Yeah. Everybody. But it's won all sorts of awards. So please tell us the whole everything about it. Look,
I know. You just won. Amazing.
I just want something. I'll tell you guys, I really see, I get tongue tied. I will say this. I wanted to be a filmmaker when I left, when I was a kid, but I didn't know what that meant. I knew I wanted to tell stories.
Oh, wait, can I interrupt you really quickly? I'm sorry, because I wanted to say this before, and I don't mean to interrupt your thoughts, but when we did our first table read, Jennifer had a whole journal of notes for her character, and I didn't. And then I thought, am I a fucking faking asshole? I seriously was she's got a whole notes, and you kept looking at your notes, then going back to the script.
Did I?
And I was
I didn't even remember.
Oh no, you had a full fucking you had it written down. She's the real deal, and I'm just a faker. So anyway, go ahead.
A million years. But I tell you, so I wanted to be a filmmaker, and I didn't know what that meant. I knew I wanted to go to NYU. My parents were like, I don't have the money. Good luck. But I also didn't see any women doing that. So I figured I have to be an actress. I guess that's what it is. And then through the years of acting, I realized I don't get to say anything really. I'm saying people's words, and I'm not really telling the stories. And that's what I wanted to do. Years and years of frustration and being told who I was, what I was. Also, I grew up around mafia, not in my family, but a lot of people around me, a lot of the young women around me. And the rage was so, so deep. And I saw a lot of violence growing up from the girls. And as I got into the business and through the business and being told I'm this, I'm too much of this, I'm that, I'm the other thing, you're only this, you can only do this. The boxes that I kept being pushed into, I just couldn't do it anymore. Then after the celiac and then coming through that reawakening, I had started to write this years ago. I had pitched it around to people like, oh, great, go do it. And would always shoo me away. I got to about 6 years ago, and it was like yet another job that I just felt soulless. I felt so sad. I felt so soulless. I was treated like, hire that girl, put her to the side. I was hired, I remember, on a show with me and this younger guy. He got paid twice as much as me. I remember
you calling me about that. We won't mention names.
I was just so done. And I remember then, oh, she's older, she's difficult, she's this. And I just was so tired of hearing myself complain. And then I was also in a lot of women's groups and looking at this powerful group of women in this room and thinking, we still can't get it right. What's happening? And I just got so sad and so discouraged. And I really sat down with myself and I said, I don't want to hear it anymore. I don't want to hear it. You want to do all these things and you want someone to come and knock and call you and say, okay, you're in. No one's coming. No one's coming. No one's calling. No one cares. So now what? And it was oh, now I have to do something because you think you can. So do it. It was like this gnat in the back of my head. You think you can do it? You think you're so hot? Do it. And it was okay, I'm either going to do this or I'm going to give up and I'm going to quit and you're going to shut up. I can't stand, like I said, inequality. I can't stand injustice. So it was do something, Jennifer. And I sat down and I started writing this thing and I said, I'm not getting up until I do it. Cut to 3 years ago, I finished the script. I didn't have an agent or a manager. No one wanted to represent me. And I sent it into the blacklist.
Fucking idiots.
Bullshit.
Sent it into the blacklist because I needed something to tell me if this was good. And it got an 8. And I thought, okay. I called up a filmmaker friend of mine, female. I said, read this. She said, let me help you do this. I said, great. She took a producer that she knew on. Unfortunately, he didn't know what he was doing. I'm going to cut to this because it's a very long story that needs alcohol to tell the story because I have such PTSD. I'll make a long story short. He was taking money.
Fuck.
I basically mortgaged my house to everything. I sold everything I had with a label. I sold hats, T-shirts. I was the first person to try NFTs for making funding for movies. I mortgaged my house. I put my money on the line. I said, no one's going to bet on me unless I bet on me. And I made my movie in 21 days, 4 time periods. And I just kept going and going and going. And then after the movie, we learned even more what this dude was doing behind the scenes. Thankfully, worse. I had this female producer jump in through my one female producer. So now I have 3 female producers and myself. And we are the first women to be in this genre of females in the mafia. I was told I was offered $5 million for a male to direct this film. I was offered $5 million to get a big name lead as Joe. And anything I did for the women, I was told, no, people don't care. Then cut to, we finally get into Tribeca and we come out with reviews that are like, honestly, heartbreaking. Heartbreaking in a bad way, but like my heart was so full. The reviews
after all this work. Yes.
After all this work. But it wasn't even about the review. It was like, I did it. I did it. I believed in myself. I knew, and I did it, but then we couldn't get sold. And we went a year and people would say, oh, it's amazing. It's genius. It's great. It's this, it's that. But there's no stars. There's no stars in it. And it was like, it's been, guys, a battle to the end in this business of like, it's not art anymore. It makes me so sad when this beautiful work here, and it definitely has taken a few years of my life. I'm not going to be honest. This has been
knock on wood. You need to live forever, celiac girl.
Yeah, you're our new guru. You can't.
Yeah, you are the guru for us. Like basically, we're going to talk for like an hour after this and change our entire lives. So there you go.
Any time. But this has been. It's been, Jamie, what you were saying before. Like, when did that shift happen with you? I have learned along the way every time, and this is something that you may want to punch me in the face, but I really do mean this. Whenever there is such a battle, you either have 2 choices. You're going to fall or you're going to learn. And I remember sitting on the deck of my house in the backyard thinking, knowing that I'm broke and my film wasn't going anywhere. And this man just deeply traumatized me again from what he did. And I didn't see a way out. And I thought, I don't know if I can live. Like, this is too much for me. Like, I felt, and something in me was like, no, you just gotta look at your dogs, look at the trees, be in the silence, understand that this is not real. Like, I had to get to another place to let it go. So it could somehow, you guys were speaking on another podcast about being in the now. I would literally put Eckhart Tolle in my ear and constantly listen to keep my head and my feet on the ground. Because I was like, I'm going to go and kill him and then wind up in jail. It's fine. Because
it's on brand for your movies.
Exactly. It's like, you can't fault me. It was like, look, that's where I'm from. So, but this has been such an incredible learning experience. But I will say this, I promise you guys, and I've heard other podcasts, if I can say one thing to you other than the food, take every single thing, and this is what my classes are on, take your pain, take it all and put it into words. Start writing now. I have found such a love for writing. I read a beautiful quote the other day. Writing is like letting the body bleed without thinking. And I cannot tell you, I worked out so much shit in that film, because it had nothing to do with mafia. It's about finding a voice in a world that tells you not to have one. So it was such a learning experience. You guys have something to say. You're both brilliantly talented. Take the time and put it into words. Write. write, move it into art. I really, if there's one thing I would tell you is that. Seriously.
Thank you, my love.
Thank you
also,
so much.
Before we go, I wanted to say, I think you had posted one of the reviews, and this is something Jamie and I were talking about before we even had you on just now. Like we always meet up for a little debrief or a brief or a pre-brief. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
Briefs. And you had posted a review that said that you were the female Martin Scorsese. And as much as that's the most awesome thing, why do you have to be the female version?
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not discounting that's an incredible compliment.
I know.
Right?
You know what they were trying to say.
What they're trying to say, yes. But then I was like, I read it and I was like, but why can't she just be amazing? And why does it have to have a vagina or a penis? Like, is the penis better than the vagina?
Yes.
Guess what? It's
culture.
No, it's not, because they have to stick one into us. We don't have to fucking do shit, right?
Well, that's why we're hated.
They need us to get off. We don't need them to get off.
That's why we're hated, Christina, because we can breathe life. Like we just need one of them. We're good.
Yeah.
We can keep creating. I mean, listen, I won't get into it, but there's such a war on women, and being in this business for a long time, I thought I saw it. But let me tell you something. You go on the other side of this, I was kind of blown away. I was kind of blown away by the things that I uncovered and how truly difficult it is. And I was told, you're a first-time female writer-director and you're an actress that everyone thinks they got pegged.
Yeah.
The amount of people that would go, who wrote this? Oh, Jennifer Esposito wrote it? Like, I know. Don't be so shocked. I know. But it's wonderful now to just be like, yeah, I did.
I'm so fucking proud of you, Jennifer.
Yeah, you're the phoenix that keeps rising after all of it. And that's everything.
This is game changer for you.
Mm-hmm.
I know it is.
Yeah.
And I don't want to put, we don't want to I don't know, I get superstitious, but also at the same time, this is a piece of wonderful art that it's
truly
all fucking you. And yes, your cast, who's incredible. The kids were amazing. And your beautiful tie-in that really haunted me with the bloody hands. I love a good tie-in. I'm not going to lie. I love a good tie-in where you're like, what does this mean? Right. And then, I love it because you're waiting for that moment to happen. What a great suspense. What a great, wonderful, wonderful accomplishment that you did, my love.
And Annabella, who I love.
Annabella's fantastic in it. I mean, she's so good. Odessa Zion, who is actually Pamela Adeline's daughter. I don't know
that's
if
that's what she was asking. And I was like, I think it, yeah.
Her face.
She's ridiculous.
I was like, I could look at that face ever.
He's so.
And you know what? You didn't miss the men.
No. And Emily Bader.
Sorry. I mean, they were great. I'm not saying that. I'm like, no, we didn't miss it. We're
okay, cool. Is amazing, but and Emily Bader.
Sorry, that sounded like an asshole. Sorry, dudes. Sorry, actors. But just the story was captivating because the point of view was something we have never ever been done.
That's right.
And Emily was incredible. It's just all great performances. Wow,
just so lovely and so solid. And it's so hard what she did because she doesn't say much, but she's got to convey everything. And I just love the cast. And I tell you, and as actresses, you'll know how deeply this touched me. Odessa came over to me at the end of the shoot and she said, this has been the most respected and the most safe I have ever felt on a set.
Yep.
That really meant
and look at the performances you get when you set that tone for people.
Exactly.
But also, sorry guys, women.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I was diagnosed with MS during the shooting of Dead to Me. There's no way I could have gotten through it, felt supported, but it was all women. And
that's right.
That's just the light and the love and the incredible strength that women do have. I felt held. I felt safe.
Awesome.
I felt able to say what I couldn't do without someone telling me, do you got one more in you? You don't. And it was love. And so for you to have I'm sorry, guys. I always seem like I'm against men.
No.
I mean, I don't know. I kind of am.
It's your,
but no,
been your
it's but it's like
experience. It's
that was
okay.
like the thing of like that feeling of being held in your heart. And so you did that for that for that girl to say that to you. That's unfortunately probably will be the last time for a while that she's going to feel that way. And that fucking sucks.
It really does. And it's funny because I remember seeing some of the way she was, I don't want to say behaving because that maybe pushes towards something bad. It wasn't, but I just saw the way she was coming to set. And as actresses, you know what I'm talking about. This like, hey, everything's great, everything. And in a way of like leading with her beauty. And it was like, you don't have to do that here. You don't have to do that. I just want you to be safe enough to do whatever you feel you need to do. And the performances, I can't. Those kids, they rock my world. They were, and they.
Well, that comes from the helm as well.
Yep, it starts from the top and the tone that was set.
Yeah, no, it was one hell of a journey, but yes, proud of it. June 14th. I can't ask you, every single one of your listeners, to please go and support.
Oh, they will.
Yes. Oh, yeah. What do you mean? You just saved us all. We owe you it.
Yeah, we basically, like, Jamie and I will have a cure for MS after we start eating.
Oh, I love it.
I mean, there isn't one. But wait, I have to tell you the funniest thing. Like my dad, and I've told Jamie this before. He called me. He goes, why aren't you not doing as well as Selma? And then he told me, you need to eat lion's mane mushrooms because apparently it cures MS. I was like, Does it? Does it, Dad? Does it cure it?
Thanks.
Cool. Thanks.
Thanks.
I'm gonna have some mushrooms. No one knows about it.
No one.
And there's still like
no one's figured it out.
Over 1 million people suffering from MS in the country. But those fucking mushrooms. That's
My father said to me when I first got diagnosed with, I was about a year in. He was like, but what about pita bread? Can you have pita bread?
You're like, no, I can't have pita bread.
No. You little, right? Like, no, still no.
Good try, Dad.
Wait, I had this other guy call me, someone who I used to date when I was younger, and he keeps calling me because he's got holy water for me to cure my MS.
If we need to do an entire episode one time about all the cures, fucking shit that I have tried. I have driven to the ends of the goddamn earth. Oh yeah, we can talk about all the things.
If the holy water works, I'm going to let you know about it.
I'll take a big swig.
Is just like really,
but it's not Catholic holy water. Not to offend anyone, it's like some dude in the desert prayed over some water, and he's pretty convinced it's going to cure my MS. I'd be like,
we dated some doozies, huh?
Yeah, they've all been pretty fun, Jen.
Yes, they have.
You have met lots of them.
Seriously, the things we know.
I know.
Oh my God.
We want to thank you so much, Jennifer Esposito. Fresh Kills in June 14th.
June 14th.
Yes, 14th.
In theaters and then streamies.
Yeah. And let me just say, so we always pull a card.
Yes.
And read it at the end of the episode. And we usually don't have the guests on, but I'm having you on because this is the card that I pulled today. Okay.
And it's always random.
All our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them.
Amen.
Hello.
Amen. And so it is.
And so it is.
Wait,
did you know her tattoo says "and so it is"?
Oh, what yours does?
Yours does too?
No, if it did, I'd flip out. No, mine says fearless.
I love it. Well, that too.
Mine says Kanaloa, which was my cat who died when you lost your tooth the same day.
And I'm getting a new one. Whenever I'm going to get a tattoo, I write it on me to make sure that I love it. So one of the strongest and most amazing women I've ever known, my Mima, she passed away 2 days ago, just shy of her 103rd birthday. But her famous saying to me always was, paciencia y fe, Jamie, patience and faith. And so that all of those things together are the perfect recipe. So
amazing.
I'm getting in. So it is on my foot too. And I love you. And I'm so again, so sorry for your Mima and
Oh,
your
thank
family,
you.
'cause you know how much-
I told you, she's a rock star angel above us now, and we were the luckiest.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Jamie.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, we love you, Jen Espo.
Thank you, guys. Seriously, call me anytime. I'm here to help.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
And so it is.
And so it is. This show is executive produced by Christina Applegate, Jamie-Lynn Siegler, and Allison Bresnick. Our audio engineer is Josh Windish.
And if you want to show us some love, don't forget to leave the show a rating or review. Hi, it's Jamie. Thanks for listening. I just want to let you know I am a paid spokesperson for Novartis, but this podcast is independent from my collaboration with Novartis.